Under the bright October lights, the atmosphere inside American Family Field was electric. Fans filled the stands, waving yellow towels, chanting in rhythm, and waiting for the next big moment that would push the Milwaukee Brewers closer to postseason glory. The tension was thick, and every pitch carried the weight of the season. But no one could have predicted that the night's most unforgettable highlight would come from the bat of Brice Turang, a young infielder whose journey to this point has been filled with patience, persistence, and quiet confidence. When Turang stepped into the batter's box, there was a buzz among the crowd. They knew he was capable, but this was the playoffs, a different level of pressure altogether. The opposing pitcher had been sharp, mixing his fastball with breaking stuff that dipped out of the zone. Yet Turang looked calm, as if he'd been there before. He adjusted his batting gloves, took a deep breath, and stared toward the mound with unwavering focus. The count went full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The crowd rose to their feet, clapping and shouting, their voices echoing off the roof. The pitcher went into his motion and fired a high fastball, trying to blow it past the rookie. But Turang's eyes were ready. His swing was smooth and compact, and the sound of the bat meeting the ball was unmistakable, a sharp, explosive crack that cut through the noise of the stadium. For a brief moment, time seemed to stop. Everyone in the ballpark watched as the ball soared into the night sky, climbing higher and higher, traveling deep toward right field. The outfielder sprinted back, but he quickly slowed down as he realized it wasn't coming back. The ball disappeared over the wall, and American Family Field erupted in a wave of thunderous cheers. Brice Turang had just hit his first career postseason home run. As he rounded first base, a wide smile broke across his face. His teammates in the dugout jumped and shouted, banging the railing in celebration. It wasn't just a home run, it was a statement. A young player showing that he belonged on the biggest stage of them all. By the time Turang crossed home plate, the crowd's roar was deafening. The scoreboard flashed his name in bold letters, Brice Turang 1st career postseason hour. His teammates greeted him with chest bumps, high fives, and pure joy. The Brewers' lead had extended, and so had their energy. The team fed off that moment like a spark igniting a flame. But for Turang, this wasn't just about one swing. It was the culmination of years of effort, from little league dreams to minor league grinds, all leading to this magical instant. He had been known for his defense and his steady presence in the infield, but tonight, his bat had told a new story. The replay played again and again on the big screen. Each time, the fans roared louder, soaking in every frame of the swing, the connection, the flight of the ball, and the jubilation that followed. It was the kind of moment baseball lives for, unexpected, emotional, and unforgettable. Reporters would later call it the turning point of the game. The Brewers, who had been clinging to a narrow lead, now felt in complete control. The momentum had swung entirely in their favor. The opposing team's bullpen suddenly looked shaken, their manager pacing the dugout, trying to figure out how to stop the bleeding. Meanwhile, the Brewers' dugout was a scene of celebration. Veteran players patted Turang on the back, telling him that they'd been waiting for that swing. "That's how you announce yourself in October," one teammate said, laughing as they poured water over his helmet in playful celebration. The camera panned to the stands, where fans were still on their feet. Some held up signs with his name, while others simply screamed in disbelief. For many of them, this was the moment they'd remember most from the series, the underdog rookie delivering when it mattered most. The broadcasters' voices reflected the emotion perfectly. "Brice Turang, remember the name," one of them shouted over the replay. "The rookie just went deep in the postseason, and the Brewers' lead grows stronger." It was a call that would be replayed for years, one of those timeless moments every franchise cherishes. Even in the dugout, as the inning continued, the players couldn't stop smiling. Every time someone looked at Turang, they'd grin and shake their heads, still processing what had just happened. The young infielder sat at the edge of the bench, helmet off, breathing heavily but smiling wide, trying to soak in every second. Later, During his post-game interview, Turang was humble as ever. "I just tried to stay within myself," he said. "I wanted to put a good swing on it, and thankfully it went out. But the credit goes to my teammates for putting me in that position." His calm tone contrasted beautifully with the excitement that had swept through the ballpark just an hour earlier. His words showed the kind of maturity that coaches love. Turang wasn't basking in the spotlight. He was sharing it. And that, perhaps, was what made the moment even more special. He wasn't trying to be the hero. He was just doing his part for the team. In the locker room, the celebration continued. The players laughed, music blared, and someone jokingly handed Turang the home run ball, which had been retrieved from the stands. He held it in his hands like a trophy, staring at the scuffed surface and smiling quietly. It was a keepsake that would mean far more than its material value, a memory frozen in time. The fans, even as they left the stadium, couldn't stop talking about it. Social media exploded within minutes. Clips of Turang's swing were trending across platforms, fans posting captions like, "Brice with a bomb," and "The kid just made history." Even opposing fans had to tip their caps. It was the kind of pure baseball moment that transcended rivalries. You didn't have to be a Brewers fan to appreciate the beauty of it, a young player stepping up and delivering in the biggest moment of his career. The following morning, headlines across sports networks highlighted the blast. Analysts broke down the swing, praising his balance, his timing, and his fearlessness. They noted how poised he looked for a player in his first postseason appearance. "That's the kind of swing you build a career on," one analyst said on live TV. For the Brewers, that home run wasn't just an addition to the scoreboard. It was a psychological blow to their opponents and a surge of confidence for the team. It told everyone watching that Milwaukee wasn't just here to compete. They were here to win. And as for Turang, the moment marked a new chapter. He wasn't just another name on the roster anymore. He had etched his name into Brewers history with one perfect swing. From now on, every time fans talk about clutch postseason performances, Brice Turang's name will be part of that conversation. After the game, as the lights dimmed and the crowd slowly dispersed, Turang took one last look at the emptying stands. You could see him soaking it all in. The cheers, the energy, the magic of playoff baseball. He knew this was just the beginning. Baseball is full of statistics, numbers, and records. But what truly makes it special are the stories, the human moments that live forever in fans' hearts. And Brice Turang's first postseason home run was one of those stories. It was the night he went from a promising rookie to a hometown hero. The night the crowd roared his name, and he gave them something to believe in. It was the night a new star began to rise in Milwaukee. From the sound of the bat to the sea of cheering fans, everything about that home run felt cinematic. It was the kind of moment that defines October. Passion, pressure, and pure joy colliding in one unforgettable swing. As highlights of the homer replayed across screens nationwide, one thing became clear: this was not just a random postseason hit. This was a glimpse into the future of the Brewers, a future where Brice Turang's name would be synonymous with clutch performance and quiet determination. And somewhere in that stadium, among thousands of fans still smiling as they walked to their cars, a young kid probably whispered to his dad, "I want to be like Brice Turang someday." That's how heroes are made, not through one swing, but through the inspiration that follows it. Brice's bomb was more than a home run. It was a moment that brought a city together, filled every heart in that ballpark with pride, and reminded everyone why they love this game. That night in Milwaukee, baseball felt pure again, a perfect mix of skill, spirit, and story. And at the center of it all stood a young man who believed, swung with confidence, and changed everything with one unforgettable hit.